before the press conference begins, as a courtesy to your fellow media members as well as the coaches and student athletes, please silence your cell phones. Also, please provide your name and your media affiliation each time you ask a question during the press conferences. We also ask when you get the microphone if you can hold it in the middle, not towards the bottom. That'll cause a little bit of feedback if you hold it right at the bottom. If you're joining us via Zoom, please use the raise hand function for questions. We will address questions in the room first and get to Zoom if time allows. Recording of this press conference on your cell phone or other cameras is prohibited. Also want to announce that Maryland's 30-minute locker room window for media is open now. Joined now by Maryland head coach Brenda Fries, along with student athletes Kayleen Smichael and Sarah Tabiasu. We'll begin with opening remarks from Coach Fries.
Yeah, tremendous win, especially second half. We knew Norfolk State was going to come out and be fearless. They had won 19 straight and hadn't lost a game. We knew Diamond Johnson is a really, really good player. She showed that throughout the entire game. Anticipated the press early. I just thought we came out really tight. You saw that in the first half. We had to kind of work through those jitters, I thought, on both ends of the floor, stop turning the basketball over, which helped us in the second half. But I thought at halftime we were able to kind of reset, take a deep breath, and allow a lot of these kids first time on the big stage to kind of settle in. And I thought our defense controlled things. We were able to get more shots. And, I thought, Sarah carried us for a while. Then we were able to get KK and Shy involved. And that's what we have to have from our guard play if we're going to continue to move through this tournament. Our guards have to show up, and we've got to we're fortunate and good. We found a way to win, but we're going to have to play a much better game come Monday.
We'll move on now. If people have questions for Kayleen and or Sarah, we'll start up here in the front.
Hey, y'all. Kareem Copeland, Washington Post. Sarah, can you kind of share a little bit of what your mindset was going into that second half? I saw kind of after you got done shooting, kind of took a breath for a second and then came out and knocked down those 2 threes right away. So how did you want to approach that second half?
I would say I was just confident. I saw at the half, I hit one, and I was like, okay, shoot the next one. It's just confident, and my teammates were like, keep shooting. We need you to shoot. So that gave me confidence, and I kept shooting. Yeah.
Max Schaefer, Pseudo Times. For either of you guys, Johnson had 16 in the first half. You guys held her to 2 in the second half. Was there a defensive adjustment that you made that you felt was effective, or just were able to play better defense?
I think we were just able to play better defense. I think we were letting them just do what they wanted to do in the first half, and I think we came out in the second half, we dictated what they were doing, so I feel like that had a big part.
R11, dream big. Sarah, was there a moment this year where you kind of felt a mindset, shift in your mindset or in your game?
I would say probably Oregon game. That game, I felt like I was confident, and it just kind of clicked. And sometimes you just got to make an adjustment. I know, it was I was in the A10, and then I came to Big Ten. It's different. But my teammate was there to give me confidence, and also the coaches, Coach Brenda, she believed in me, and I was just like, okay, just adjust and just play basketball.
Sam Cohen, Baltimore Suns. For either of you, it looked like you guys came out in the second half just with so much more juice in the first half. How much do you attribute that to, whether it was resetting, schematics, or anything maybe that was said in particular to kind of help reset you guys at the half?
I think one thing we focused on was calming down. I think we started the first half, and a lot of our shots were rushed, or we just weren't moving, we just weren't playing our basketball. So I feel like coming out, we know what they were going to come out in, so I feel like we just adjusted and just played freely.
Hey, ladies, Rob Knox from The Next. Can you just describe the game? Obviously, it was a typical NCAA tournament game, lots of physicality, lots of talking back and forth, just a typical game, 2 teams just battling. Can you just describe playing in this type of game?
I know every possession mattered. We had to come out and play 40 minutes hard. We started off slow, but we picked it up, and I feel like we did a much better half, and we did much better in the second half, and I think we played more together, we were more aggressive, and I feel like that had a big part in it.
Hey, Nolan Rogalski, WBC Sports. Kayleen, when you were subbing back in late in the first, Coach Fries came over, said something to you, dapped you up. What did she say to you, and what has it meant to you being able to play under her this year?
She just told me to play my game. I think this first half I was a little nervous. It's my first March game. I feel like that's normal. And she just told me to play my game, play free, and just do what I do. And playing under her means a lot. Now she pushes me every day, instills confidence in me, and wants to see me better. And I feel like having a head coach who just wants to see you better and who's able to, help me get to the next level is just I'm blessed.
Do we have more questions for Kayleen or Sarah? We'll go right right up here.
Hey, Kareem Copeland, Washington Post. KK, was there a moment where you did kind of calm down and kind of start to feel it, where you could kind of be a little bit more aggressive? Like, kind of, at what point did you kind of feel that, like, all right, you're kind of back to the way that you were playing, that you usually play?
I think started the second half. I think the first half I was playing tight and I was rushing a little, not taking the best shots. And I think after I relaxed and calmed down, it just flowed.
Do we have anything else for Kayleen or Sarah? If not, I'll let Kayleen and Sarah get going, and congratulations on a great win.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This time we'll have questions for head coach Brenda Fries.
Hello, Brenda. Candace Buckner, Washington Post. When Norfolk was coming back in the fourth quarter, they cut the lead to 4 points. You called timeout. Just curious, what was your message in the huddle?
Yeah, just again trying to settle us down with just great poise and confidence. Just understanding that we wanted great shot selection there, and then we needed to do a better job guarding. So the one-on-one defense, being more aggressive.
Jared Hoffman, HBCU Sports. Coach, this Norfolk State team has a reputation for being a crafty defensive team. They have an intense motor. Anytime they see the ball, they're swarming. What were kind of the challenges that they presented to your team, and what were kind of the adjustments that you felt like your team needed to make to give yourself a chance to win?
Yeah, they're all winners. You can tell the experience that they have, with a roster like that. They weren't going to be afraid of the moment. We knew that. They've played in the NCAA tournament. They played with a chip on their shoulder. I thought they had the pace going where they needed it in the first half, a game in the 30s and keeping it low scoring. So, I thought we had to really make an adjustment in the second half to be able to pick up our pace, especially, defensively once we were able to get going. That led to a lot of great things on the offensive end. But like you saw, they're a tough out. That's the really well-coached team, a team that, plays really, really hard and gave us a lot of problems.
Kareem Copeland, Washington Post. You were kind of talking a little bit about making some of those adjustments, and I'm wondering if you could kind of expound on that a little bit. 30 points in that third quarter, had 30 in the entire first half. Is that shots just falling, or did you do something to kind of create better looks?
Well, we stopped turning the basketball over, so that was helpful. I think we only had 2 or 3 turnovers in that second half. So, when we get shots at the basket, some pretty good things happen for us. So, again, we just kind of stressed, one, just the reset we needed at halftime, the pace that we needed to pick up on both ends of the floor. And I'd love to say it was some elite level play calling, which, we were able to get some good things out of the zone when we went back to back with Sarah's threes, and then we got KK going. And again, our guard play has to, in the tournament, everyone has to show up in order for you to be successful.
Sam Cohn with The Sun. Maybe a simple question, but you talked about how tight you guys played in that first half. How comforting is it as a coach to watch those two combine for 8 threes, to shoot the lights out the way they did and really tilt the game in that way? Yeah,
really comforting. They put a lot of time in, and they should have that kind of confidence because they put the work in. And I thought, the two of them, the inside presence we had with Allie Kubik, I thought this was one of her better games, that she gave us a great presence all night. I thought she was really confident and really strong, and you need to kind of have that outside presence within your team.
As Kayleen was saying, and as you were saying, first time for some players, were you kind of expecting some tightness at the start?
I was in the first quarter. I didn't think it would lead to the second. So it took a little longer than what I anticipated. But, it took us a full 20 minutes in the halftime to be able to reset. So I'm hopeful as we move forward we can, get back to playing the way we're used to playing.
I wonder what this might say about women's basketball and the parity you're seeing now. You saw 12 and 13 seeds play very good basketball. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I've watched it over the course of the last 4 to 5 years. Your first round games used to be, you knew more than likely it would be easy wins. And that's not the case. Like you're talking about the parity of the game, the transfer portal has changed things where, different players and impact, as well as players that stay in a program like Norfolk State that stay with each other and give you all the, you go down the list of grad seniors and seniors that have experienced rosters, Power 4 players within it. So, this is how it is. Every round you go is going to be extremely difficult, and you've got to come out and play the right way.
Coach, hey, Rob Knox, the next. What's been Sarah's biggest growth moment or area this year for your program, and how did you see that reflected out on the floor this afternoon?
Gosh, where do I begin? I think everywhere. When you first talk about her running the team and knowing what we want, she understands the system. Then when we needed her offense and that's taken off. She's an elite level scorer. And then she's become, quite honestly, like one of our best defenders. She's really coming from VCU. When she first got here, she wasn't that. I mean, she's taken great pride on both ends of the floor. And you see when we have to take her off the floor, it's very impactful. We're missing a massive piece. So both ends of the floor, she's been huge.
Coach, you have Max Schaefer, Testudo Times. You have a one-day prep for Alabama now. I know you got to watch them a little bit earlier. Do you have any preliminary thoughts on what's going to be key to that game?
Yeah, a really, really strong SEC opponent. Another roster that has nothing but grad seniors and seniors that are experienced, can shoot the three. They're tough. There's a lot of size, both with their 4 guards that they play with, as well as the inside presence that they have. So it's definitely going to take a more connected effort on both ends of the floor.
Do we have more questions for Coach Freeze? If not, I'll let Coach Freeze get going. Congrats on the win.
Thank you.
Hammond Communications will post a recording of this press conference in the NCAA Digital Media Hub at ncaa.veritone.com. Transcripts are provided by ASAP and will be posted shortly. Thank you for joining us. A courtesy to your fellow media members as well as the coaches and student athletes, we ask that you please silence your cell phones. Also, please provide your name and media affiliation each time you ask a question. Also, again, we ask that you hold that mic in the middle. If you get it down at the bottom, it causes some feedback. If you're joining us on Zoom, please use the raise hand function for questions. We'll address questions in the room first and get to Zoom if time allows. Recording press conferences on cell phones or other cameras is prohibited. We're joined now by Norfolk State head coach Larry Vickers, along with players Diamond Johnson and Kira Wheeler. We'll start with an opening statement from Coach Vickers.
I knew that question was coming. I mean, there's not really a lot to say, honestly. We came into this game, felt like we were prepared, we were ready, we were focused, we were determined. And yeah, we made some mental mistakes. We really did. But this group won 30 games this year, 27 games last year, 26 games the year before, and we still walk into these things having to get respect from the 3 people on the floor. And I'm not going to complain about officiating. That's not what I'm going to do. But when y'all see these Spartan heads in your gym, I think we should get a little bit more respect than we get. and that's unfortunate. I have a new assistant. He came from the Sun Belt. He loves talking to the refs, you know. And I don't even get frustrated by it anymore, but it drives him insane. And I'm not saying that the officiating lost us that game. We fouled and we fouled and we fouled and we fouled. And we fouled jump shooters and we fouled jump shooters some more. I think that was kind of two things. That was number one. You know, they're so good. We haven't had a close game in a long time. You know, Howard, you know, they fought us a few good times. But I think some of that you saw was us. You know, situations in practice really can't prepare you for a real game with the amount of people that were in the arena today. I'm not sure what the number was. And we made some mental mistakes because of that. And I think if we would have probably had a lot more closer games late, I don't think we make some of those mistakes, you know. Even me, it was a ton of stuff I would love to have back. But, you know, one thing, I love this group, honestly. Playing for me isn't the easiest, but they buy in and they work hard, you know, and I mean, I appreciate them. I appreciate what they've done for our women's basketball program. You know, they both took a chance on me. They both took a chance on us. The rest of that locker room, Ajane, Debria, McCoy, Naya, Danasia, and my new ones too. They all took a chance, and you know, hopefully I was able to make them proud, and because they damn sure made me proud.
At this time, we'll take questions for Diamond and Kira up in the front.
Hey, y'all, Kareem Copeland, Washington Post. Diamond, can you kind of take me a little bit through the two halves, really hot start, and what was working well then, and what kind of changed coming out of halftime, whether it was the way they were guarding you or what was flowing for you guys in general?
I think the first half I was being super aggressive. I think the second half I really wasn't. My teammates was going in the second half, and it kind of was, you know, doing their thing, getting stops, making shots. I could have been more aggressive.
Patrick Stevens for the Virginia Pilot for both of you. You guys were able to force a lot of turnovers and generate a lot of offense off that in the first half. What kind of flipped in the second half, and how much harder was it without being able to force them into quite as much with your press?
Let's start with Kira.
My team played with a lot of heart, and we could be emotional sometimes. And that first half, we played with a lot of heart, and I think our intensity kind of stopped a little bit because we got a little comfortable. And I just try to tell them a lot of times that we can't get comfortable. This is never in a position to get comfortable. So that third quarter, they did make some shots, some tough shots, but we knew the defensive assignment. So I think that third quarter, it was a lack of intention.
For both of you, Rob from the Next, getting 2 fouls in the first quarter for each of you, I think that's the first time I've seen that all year. How did that impact you, your aggressiveness, or did it change your game or force you to do anything different, knowing that you had 2 fouls in the first quarter?
Diamond, do you want to go first?
I mean, we play aggressive. The MEAC is an aggressive league, and they let us battle it out. Like you said, it's not ideal for us to get 2 fouls early. So we kind of had to be smart and not be as aggressive on defense, which we usually are. But yeah, that's really all I got to say, honestly.
I'm a post player. We're supposed to be aggressive. So me getting that charge, me going for the rebound, I feel like that's a basketball play. Two quick fouls, you know, I tried not to take myself out the game because my teammates still need me for 40 minutes regardless if I'm on the bench or if I'm on the floor.
Jared Hoffman, HBCU Sports. Kiera, this was a really tough battle down in the paint there. Bigs were swarming and grabbing offensive rebounds. Just talk about the battle that you had with them and what kind of things that they were doing that were making it tough for you.
Just trying to push me under the basket. You know, you can't get a rebound if you too far under the basket, so they did a good job pushing me under the basket. And just them all being, you know, I'm one of the tallest players on my team, but I'm not the tallest player out there. So they're 6'1", 6'2", you know, so they have a little bit of length. So it was really just them trying to focus in on me because I'm a good rebounder, and that also caused opportunities for my teammates to get a lot of rebounds because they were so focused on me.
Mia Berry with Anscape, Diamond, Mimi, for both of you. Last year you played Stanford. Today you came out there a lot closer game, a lot closer matchup. How would you describe the growth, you know, you as players in this program has had in NCAA tournament games from last year to this year?
Diamond, do you want to go first?
I think we just was mature over the years. I wasn't here 3 years ago, but last year kind of got a late start, then started the groove. But, I mean, this team is amazing. Like, it's unreal to win 30-4, about 30-5 now, go undefeated regular season. I mean, we did a lot, and I know it's not the outcome. I think it was a fair matchup from Stanford. I think we had a chance to win. I mean, that's just not what happened tonight, but we did a lot, and we shouldn't be too upset. I mean, but yeah.
I would just like to give a big shout out to Diamond because from last year to this year, I would feel like, even from when the first year I played with her, I feel like my transition has grown so much because of her. I never seen nobody work as hard as her. She deserves a lot. She deserves a lot. And I think the loss from Stanford, it motivated both of us. We was in the gym OD, like nobody know. And I'm really proud of her, and I appreciate her because that loss from Stanford, that built this 30 win because we knew playing Stanford, we knew we could get up with them. You know, me and her are competitors. We want to compete with everybody. So when we took that loss, we took it personally. We take every loss personally. So I really appreciate her. I really appreciate my team for taking that loss in and then coming in the next year and expecting more and wanting more. So that was the difference between last year and this year was our work ethic, was our motivation, was to do better, and we did better. We did a lot better.
All right, Ray Rogers, HBCU Legends and Urban Sports Center, Kiera. I think everybody knows the work you put in. You just kind of mentioned it, working out with Diamond, getting those guard skills down, expanding your game to the three-point line. You showed that today. You played so well in the second half despite the outcome. How pleased are you that you got to show your game on this stage and how you just put in so much work over the years, your third time in the NCAA tournament?
I'm very happy with my growth from the last 3 years. Coach O.V. says all the time, when I came in, like, he wasn't expecting this outcome at all. Like, I came in the last minute. I think I came in August of my sophomore year, fresh off of JUCO. I didn't really know too much about Norfolk State, but he told me as long as I worked hard that I could play, and that's all I needed to know because I want to win and I want to work. And this program is all about working and winning. And I had a good first year here. It was I got most outstanding player in the tournament, and from there I just built my confidence, and this program built my confidence a lot. So being in the gym is just, I just like to see the product of my work, and this was a good game.
For both ladies, Lauren with the 9450. Just piggybacking off of what Coach said earlier about the Spartans not always getting the respect they deserve. Not the outcome you wanted, of course, but had stretches of time in the game when you guys had the lead and essentially made it competitive throughout. Talk about the competition in the MEAC and how it prepared you guys for this game, and just describe how it feels for HBCUs to get a chance to showcase their talent on the biggest stage like today.
Diamond, do you want to take that first?
Kind of to piggyback off what I said earlier, like, the MEAC is a tough league. You know, they let us play, they let us bang on each other. So when we come here, we like, all right, we can be aggressive. But that's, you know, probably not. But The Big Ten is a great league. Maryland is a great team. Brenda Freeze, she definitely probably going to be in the Hall of Fame, the coaches. And they well respected. And I think they respected us. I think they didn't come out and give us anything. Like going into halftime, we was up 30-32. I think, they made some adjustments second half. And we just fought hard to the end, regardless of what was going on. And I'm just, again, proud of this team, man. I decided to come here and play for Coach LV, Coach Fox, join Mimi, and join the rest of them. And they just welcomed me like I was family on day one. And I can't thank them enough. Honestly, the road that I've been on is, like I said, probably the best decision coming to the HBCU lifestyle and coming into the MEAC.
The MEAC might not be too much respected as a conference as the Big Ten, but they come out every day. Them girls don't care that we was 14-0. Every time that we played them, they came out with everything they got. And I think that prepared us a lot because even though the scores might not tell it, them games was hard. It was tough. No buckets was easy at all. And they came with the doubles. They came with their game plan, and they executed it. We just had the better team, honestly. And the MEAC deserves a lot of respect. Howard, Coppin, those are great teams as well. And as far as the HBCU culture, I mean, NSU has built a great sisterhood for me. And like Diamond said, she came in 2 years ago, but I mean, 2 years in, and this how far we came just because we stuck together. And I think that brings us being HBCU, we have to stick together. We don't get to separate at all. That's going to show in the court. That's going to show in the media. So I think that us being together and us being a sisterhood brought us to where we are today.
We're going to let Diamond and Kira get going. Thanks for joining us, and you guys had a great season.
Thank you.
At this time, if there's questions for Coach Vickers, up here in the front. If you want to go first, yeah, we'll get him next. Yeah.
Larry Patrick Stevens with the Virginian Pilot. Just kind of wanted to double back on your comments about what this season has meant to you guys, and to win 30 games and to do all that. Just how do you kind of reflect on what a remarkable run it's been here over the last 4.5 months?
Well, I've seen a lot of coaches talk about the transfer portal, and after winning 27 games, and as good as my players are, everybody who could return returned. It's not because they get a ton of money. It's not because we're flying first class or we have a private jet. It's because we're really a family. When we say Spartans on 3, family on 6, we mean it. And a lot of programs don't, but we do.
Hey there, Kareem Copeland, Washington Post. I do believe they went 6 for 9 from behind the arc in that second half. Did they do, from your perspective, did they do something differently to create better looks, or were those shots just falling, or would you have liked to kind of, defend that in a different way?
What came first, the free throws or the threes? Does anybody remember? It felt like the free throws came first, and the free throws got him in rhythm for the threes. We don't foul 25 times. I'm not saying we didn't foul because it was a large moment and we were probably fouling. I got to watch the film. But you can't send teams to the free throw line, especially as good shooters as they were. I think Sarah hit hers early. We had some miscommunication in the zone. But then after that, we just started fouling. And even though we were scoring, we gave up 30 points. That's not like us, And was the moment too big for us? I don't believe so. But I do feel like we were a little undisciplined. It's something that we generally don't do. But we really wanted this today. And I think us wanting it as much as we did is what kind of caused some of those fouls. I mean, we probably sent them to the free throw line on 3s 4 times. That's 12 easy ones. And you can't do that on this stage in somebody's home arena.
Jared Hoffman, HBCU sports coach. A lot of people will look at your team and teams like Jackson State women, and they'll say that you changed the narrative, not just around Norfolk State basketball, but HBCU basketball in general. Years past in the NCAA tournament, teams have just been fighting to get themselves in the game, but your team comes out year in and year out, and you're playing to win. Just talk about what it means to you to change the narrative around HBCU basketball and some of the people and that helped you along the way to change that narrative.
Well, some of you know my story. I was the associate head men's basketball coach. Our team was 0-19. Our AD, Marty Miller, fired our coach at the end of January and asked me to coach the rest of the season. We went from 0-19 to 3-7, and 9 years later, I'm sitting here 30-4. You know, they both complimented our league a ton, and you know, 30-4 is no easy feat. I think we were one of the first teams in the country to get to 20. You know, it's no easy feat. It's no easy feat, but you know, we grinded day by day. We did it the right way. I do want to say something about Diamond Johnson, and I don't compliment them a ton. I kind of compliment them with sarcasm. Is my way to compliment them. But I will say this: she came to watch us play several times when she was still at NC State. You know, she came to our games at North Carolina Central. She came to our games at A&T, and she said, he can coach. And she played for the great Vivian Stringer her first year, and then she went to go play for West at NC State, and we all know what West and NC State is doing now. And she said, that's the program I want to play for. And I've watched her go from 7th in the first round when she got to me and drop and drop and drop and drop. And I don't know why. I don't know why. I do not know why. She was 7th in the first round when she got to me. And I actually called Coach Staley and I said, do you think this will affect her? She said no. She said no. Y'all, we have ESPN Plus. I don't think anybody, you know, there's so many games on ESPN Plus at this point. Of course, you're going to miss some. But our special ones, we need to tune in across the country. We need to tune in. We need to tune in. She needs to be on every mid-major finalist list, every Dawn Staley Award winner finalist list, every Nancy Lieberman finalist list. She's super special, and she doesn't average 25 because if y'all saw us play today, we look to execute in half court, and we don't play super fast, and we want to have precision on both ends, and I don't feel like that was recognized enough.
Simmons, HBCU Game Day. You mentioned the 30 games and also your 9 years being there. And that last third of your career, you probably have one of the best teams, we'll say, in HBCU basketball and in MEAC.
Yeah,
so
sure.
What's next for Coach Vickers?
Man, I don't know. I don't know. I haven't talked to my team. We all have visions and goals, and I don't know, man. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
All right, Ray Rogers again, HBCU Legends. Coach, we kind of talked about this yesterday, the location of the game. And, of course, you played at Norfolk State, coached the men's, like you said, been here a long time. How pleased were you with the turnout of the green and gold fans, and what's your message to them? Because they matched that energy today, even though this was technically a road game for you guys.
Yeah. You know, our DMV, Baltimore alumni chapters, they're so strong. They love us. They follow us. We play Howard for senior night. We might have had more people in there than them. Norfolk State's basketball program is really strong. Our other programs, track, you know, volleyball. I don't want to leave nobody out. Dr. J and Dr. Webb really support athletics, and our fans really support us. And a lot of those people I saw were in Raleigh yesterday. You know, so they drove, they watched our men play in Raleigh, and then they made it to Maryland to see their women play today. and it just speaks to the program and what we built. And it's taken a little while, but I'm glad that it's in such a great place.
Hey man, Rob Knox, the next. What are you most proud of this season? With everything, obviously get to this point again as we talked throughout the years. Obviously, never easy. But what are some of those moments away from games and things like that that you're really going to remember this team?
Puerto Rico was a special trip for us. You know, some of the larger programs, they're able to go international every year. And we always talk about the Puerto Rico week and how bad we were. You know, we were super bad in Puerto Rico. If you saw us in Puerto Rico, you know we weren't good. But it was a great experience for us. It was great that administration gave us the $100,000 to go on that trip. You know, it was a lot of memories made, you know, from the paddle boarding, just everything. We had an amazing time in Puerto Rico, even though we were 1-2. We had a great time. I'll say that. We had a great time in Puerto Rico.
At this time, we'll let Coach Vickers get back to his team. So thank you for joining us, Coach.
Thank you.
You guys had a great season.
I appreciate it.
Hammond Communications will post a recording of this press conference in the NCAA Digital Media Hub at ncaa.veritone.com. Transcripts are provided by ASAP and will be posted shortly. Thank you for joining us.